The 5 largest national data sets that fund or support the funding of education don't ask kids questions about their sexual identity, gender orientation, or expression.
Right.
When that comes up, it's usually in a health context and it's around risk, HIV, for the right. So I'm now creating data because if you don't have it, often they say it's not real or it doesn't exist, and it's a mixed method study because I got to use y'all's quantitative data and then add a little bit of qualitative flavor. But here are the 3 findings that are most significant from this study, and I just want to say thank you to all of my babies. One is that age is significant.
Age is significant.
Age is significant. Too often we are trained to hold important conversations until we think people are ready. This is in part why Moms for Liberty, an organization many of whom don't have kids in public schools anyway, has been attacking democracy by attacking schools and suggesting that we ban books that feature our stories and this language, and remind folks that like the beautiful diversity that exists now is how we will continue to strive as a democracy. My babies, age is significant. We say wait until they get to high school, then we'll talk to them about it. So one of my babies said, well, I got called a faggot in the 3rd grade. It wasn't until I was in high school that I understood what that meant, but I knew that it hurt. I knew that it hurt. And what I know as somebody that taught kindergarten is that children are often able to have thoughtful, complex conversations in ways that adults can't. In ways that adults can't, because we get caught up in the politics of it all and the politics and the bullshit. But age is significant. We have to appreciate that, as Tom Harkin would say, learning begins at birth and the preparation for learning starts well before birth. So it's about holding space for appreciating development and having more meaningful conversations with babies before we think they're ready. That's one. The second is that mental health support is critically important. So to that point, like, what do you do when you're carrying trauma, but you don't have the language to name it or tools to deal with it? And you're forced to go to schools that have policies that make it such that for every 1 white boy suspended or expelled in K through 12th grade, the rate is 3 times higher for Black boys. The rate is 6 times higher for Black girls. The suicide rate for Black youth has doubled in the last 2 decades. And based on a limited data that we have, some of which I collected, we know that students who, here's the thing, because they're babies, students who are often assumed to be trans, queer, and gender expansive because they don't perform gender in the way in which they're expected to, those babies face additional challenges and threats. And often those who need it the most are the furthest away from the likelihood of getting it. Related to that, what I appreciated about the mixed methods approach, otherwise I wouldn't have found it, is that for trans students in particular, Aretha was right, respect matters. Also not surprising to anybody who's thoughtful, right? Like, I don't care what you know until I know that you care about me.